So I'm going to call this little tip section tried and tested, and that's all about rigs. Now, I've used the German for quite a few years. Now, I'll be honest, I only started using the German. I was always a bit unsure of a wafter presentation. So firstly, I cannot tie that knot where you use the IQD rig. I could learn. I think Mozza did show me once an easier way of doing it, but I wanted something that I could tie really quickly, that put them in trouble, that was quite industrial. And by industrial, I mean almost a bit cumbersome. I wanted something that when it went in the mouth, it was just hard for them to spit out. It was just going to grab them somewhere. And I only came across the German by chance, and I was fishing at a lake in France, and I was using the QC rig, or the spinner rig, or the Ronnie as it's known. It's quite a soft bottom lake, quite silty, getting loads and loads of fizzes all over me, and I was using only a little, let's say, QC, which is popped up like an inch into it off the bottom, and I thought I should be getting a bite. So I reeled the rod in, took the rig off, tied a German, put it on, 5 minutes, bang, fish. And that week I had 33 takes and landed 33 fish, all on the Germans, all on wafters. The bottom line was they were feeding hard in the soft stuff. So even a pop-up that's an inch tall was getting missed. I was probably going to run the risk of foul hooking more than catching one. They just wanted to be in the soft stuff. And I think because a lot of today's rigs are media driven, if you like. Now, whilst the spinner rig is a fantastic rig, the companies that blow the rig out of proportion are the companies that invariably want to sell you the products. That's kind of good marketing, I guess. And don't be under no illusions, the QC or the spinner is a fantastic rig, it really is, but it becomes overused, and I think that's it, at that position. That's why a few years ago I changed and wanted something different. And I knew no one was really using the German, so I started using it. And what it's proved is, whatever lake I've been to, because I've used that rig almost exclusively now for probably 4 years, there is still certain instances where I will use a QC rig. There's a certain lake in France that I fish, they're just a sucker for it and it nails them. So for me, the tried and tested theme is that I wouldn't go to that lake and start using the German because I know the QC works so well. So it's about gaining the confidence in one rig, and it's the same with upbaits. If you look at all the OAS shoots, primarily it's been German rigs, and it's been either PB wafters or it's been milky malt wafters. And we have caught everywhere we've been. I've used that rig in Europe, on loads of different lakes in Europe, that German. Say, might have used a matching S7 Match the Hatch or a fluoro wafter, but it just keeps working. And it's an element of me fishing that when I get to a lake, I don't worry about rigs. I don't question my rig and I don't question my bait. So all that means is I can clear all that gumph out of my mind and just focus on trying to find some fish. Once you've got total confidence in the rig and the bait, everything else becomes immaterial because you're almost expecting to catch. If you can put yourself on fish, you're almost sort of expecting to catch. It's almost like an arrogance, if you like, because you're so confident in what you're doing, you're convinced you're going to catch. And there's lots and lots of instances where you see a lot of confident anglers and they always catch a lot of fish. Well, they're not cocky confident, arrogant, if you like. They're just confident in what they do because they fish so many different lakes and they use mainly the same rig or the same taxi, and it works. So it proves that these fish ain't rocket scientists. You use a good rig with a good bait, a sharp hook, and you'll catch. And we've proved that, and we'll carry on proving that. You look at people like Dave Lay, for example, uses same couple of rigs. Ian Chilcott, same again. Ian uses one rig. So that isn't a coincidence. These guys aren't just using this rig because they can't be bothered to learn about other things. They use it because it keeps working. You know, and a good rig that is working now will still catch a carp in 20 years' time. So try and filter away some of the gumph that is used to try and get you to buy product, if you like. Use something that you think, right, well, I'm fishing a gravel pit where there's lots of weed, but there's also lots of spots. So that obviously a wafter, it lends itself perfectly. Like where I'm fishing now, it's 3 foot deep. It's rock hard gravel, you can see the spots. What you don't want on there is a 2-inch stiff hinge rig or even a QC rig, because I think that will be treated with suspicion. You want something hard on the deck, either a bottom bait or a wafter, something that's going to grab their attention, but something that is pinned down on the deck. I can't begin to tell you how alien that must look for a chod rig or a stiff hinge rig to be on a 3 foot clear spot suspended 2 inches off the bottom. Yes, you may get a bite, but surely that is going to be treated with suspicion. So try and just picture the spot in your own mind. So if you think it's gravel, if you can get away with it, put something hard on the deck. How many people use a double 18mm bottom bait straight on the bag anymore? Nobody does it, do they? And that's an edge. That in itself is an edge. So confidence is key. Pick a rig that works for you. If you're catching fish on a rig now, don't change it. If you're using a good bait will always be a good bait and will always stand the test of time.